Medea, Medea.
Hello, my fans.
Hello.
East. My friends from the east. No, you guys are from the west, actually, west of me. So my friends from the west. How's life, man? How's life treating everybody?
Oh, the sun was killing us today.
That was nice. Tomorrow, isn't it? How hot was it today? Do you know?
I'm sure it was at least 30 because it was a different heat.
26,
and all the flying ants decided to attack us.
Yeah. That's not that bad, man. 30, man. 30 is nice. That's
No,
nice.
it's not. No, it's not. It's too hot.
That is much too hot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think you guys need to move to one country and get back to your black roots. You know, you get to black. You think black people in Africa can play around 30 degrees?
Well, we'll have to ask them and find out.
You guys are not. The thing is, the people in Brazil, man. When I was in Brazil, they were like, "We don't like summer, hot sun." I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "They were like, we like cold." And I was like, "What's cold to you?" And they were like, 21 degrees, 22 degrees. I was like, "Is that cold?" It ain't cold, man. I said, "You look, what we get in Europe is -5, -10. You know, that's cold. 22, 21 degrees, 22. I love that, man. That's enough." So it's perspective, isn't it? Really, it's like you guys say it's too hot, but really,
definitely.
I don't think you guys look like we had 30 today. In fact, like when I set into my car, which is stupidly kitted out with leather, I don't know why I do that. 41 degrees it was inside. So hot.
It is. It's just too much.
Anyway, should we get into the topics?
Yes. The one what is dear to my heart today is it right to keep children away from extended families when a child is adopted? And should adoption rules be changed and updated? Now, the reason why I've asked this, I've been thinking about this actually not because there's things going on, but because I've looked at it over the years, and I've thought, you know, when you watch the documentaries and people who've had the kids adopted and then they find out that the kids weren't actually being abused, they had an illness, but it was too late to reverse the decision. I think things like that are really, really cruel. Really cruel. And I think it's time the law changed. I think some sort of group foundation should be made that they can change these laws, because the adoption law is really, really selfish and cruel. Because, I mean, how can you decide that, all right, some parents are definitely unfit and they do deserve to have their children taken away. But when these children, whether it be newborn up to, say, 4 or 5 years old, what if they're attached to the extended family who probably can't take them in themselves, but are very close or attached to them? Why should those be sort of obliterated out of the child's life? Because some judge, some stranger, some social worker has decided that these children need to be put up for adoption. Why is it that everybody needs to be obliterated just because the parent couldn't cope with that child or children at the time?
I think it's kind of weird. I think it shouldn't be allowed to take. I think there should be some contact to the natural parent.
Yeah, there should. No, what they do is they're allowed to write 1 or 2 letters a year to the adopted parents, but the children don't know about the letters. It goes just to the adopted parents, and they will write back and let them know how the child's getting on. But I'm talking about extended families. Why should they be cut off just because some laws decided these children need to be adopted? Why should the extended, say, nans or uncles or aunts who have probably got nothing bad going on, but yet they've been taken away out of the children's lives just like that?
I want to find out something a little bit more about what it says about. What do we consider adoption, or what would they call it? What's the proper term for it when they take the kids away?
The children will be removed and they will be placed into foster care for a while they battle.
It's actually really stupid. I don't know. I reckon there's a dark undercurrent to this. I think because putting kids in a foster care is probably the worst thing you can do. Okay,
yes,
let's be fair. There's some parents are just not fit enough to be fair.
Yeah.
Parents, and it probably makes sense to take the kids away and put it to trying to figure out if everyone else is in there. No, yeah, everyone else. But just to totally remove the parents from their life, because people change, don't they? People
Yes, they
mature,
do.
get older, and then understand things a bit better. I could understand if the people are drug addicted, or
Even those can change if they really want to. You know what I mean?
Alex. Yeah, but I think I don't know. It's really difficult. I think like I said, I think there's a dark undercurrent, and I think I had to do it on purpose for whatever reason. I don't know.
I think it's a very cruel purpose, and I do think a lot of the people who do this, which are social workers and the judges, they're on this power trip to me. I feel some of them take it very personal, and it's a power thing that they can just walk into your lives and destroy it overnight. Yes, some of them, they are doing a good job where they will come in and they will observe and look and see what's going on with the child before they do remove them. But at the same time, you can't say it's best for a child to be ripped from its entire family, extended family, grandparents, uncles, aunts, just because that child's mother or father can't cope with them. How can you say that's possibly best for a child to remove everyone out their life and create a new family because they think that's the right thing for a child? I don't get that. I don't get that.
I think I'm trying to look. It says here, social workers do not have the power to remove your child from your care unless this is ordered by the court or you agree that your child should be removed. So it looks like the social workers recommend it. And
Yes, they recommend it, and they will. Believe you me, when let's give you an example. If you've been arrested for a crime, now you've got to picture the prosecutor. They want that case closed regardless of whether they've got the full evidence and the full facts before them. You've got to picture they want this to be a successful trial. Well, social services are exactly the same. They will write up a report and they will make sure they exaggerate it to the extent that they can exaggerate it to. Yes, sometimes they do have the proof, but sometimes they do actually fabricate and, as I said, exaggerate. So it sounds really bad. So the judge will say, then, I'm going off what these people are saying. They know what they're doing, so let's remove the child or children.
Do they give you a period of time where you're allowed, they assess you?
Well, they do, but it depends as well, because sometimes it can take months. It depends. I mean, I suppose it depends what they're being removed for. If it's say there's violence in the home, I think that would be a case where they probably wouldn't really even have assessed you. They'd probably think, well, you're going to stay violent, so who knows. But if it's someone who's, say, they're neglectful, but they're not aware that they're being neglectful, i.e., as I spoke in earlier podcasts, where mothers or fathers are on the phone and the kids have got needs going on and the parents are ignoring the needs, that is a form of neglect.
Yeah.
And a social worker could decide that, you know what, this is neglect to an extent that I want to remove this child because their needs are not being met. So they will exaggerate it. I'm not saying they don't give opportunities, for you to clean up your act, but sometimes you'll get those who are definitely on a power trip and they will exaggerate to an extent where they're going to remove them no matter what.
I think it's important because I've got this website. It's called the Family Rights Group. I don't know if you know it. Keeping children safe in their families. And it gives you obviously questions and answers, and they say obviously you should definitely go see a solicitor for any case like this comes up, and you can actually call these guys and talk to these guys about things.
You actually send me that link in my Facebook Messenger when you've finished, so I can read that up myself.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely. I mean, first of all, you got to listen to what they say.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna, they've got the power. The government has the power over everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And then obviously, if you didn't keep up with your end of the bargain, I don't know. Then you got to talk to some legal guys, I guess, and hope that they can fight your case. I mean, but like I said, there's some extreme cases where I don't know. Like I said, I definitely don't support that they take the kids away from you and then they say you can never see a kid again until the kid's 18. I think that's wrong because you're breaking
That is totally wrong, yeah.
Like, you look how many fatherless families there are.
Yeah.
And then the kids didn't see their parents, their father, and they really don't like their mom because of it, etc. You know, and I think this is the same sort of thing. I don't think a kid can relate to their mother after they've been away for so long because it's just a stranger. Then
it's strange, yeah.
Build that relationship when you've lost all the bonding years. You know, first
yeah.
So
I think they do need to revisit how they deal with cases and change. We're in the 21st century now, and it's time for change when it comes to the adoption laws. Let's keep children safe, but sometimes some of them are on a power trip rather than thinking of the child's needs. They're on a power trip as well, which they need people to govern them to make sure they're doing it for the right reasons and not bringing their personal feelings into it. Yeah. Which then, go on.
No, that's what I was going to say. In regards to you saying about the judges and the social workers and those sort of people going off their emotions, that's where I would say, from my personal experience, it's very healthy and it's very beneficial if those sort of people of that sort of profession can have regular assessments themselves, because you do need that when it comes to children. You see some very dramatic things and scenarios, and it's not always as simple as, oh, I'm taking a child away because they're dirty. It's like there were sometimes some real raw situations. You've got to weigh up the pros and the cons. Is it beneficial for the child to stay there? And I feel like maybe, I don't know, I'm assuming they're just going off the fact of, oh, it's a job and I've got to toughen up, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes I think it is that. Yeah, you actually need to look at the fact of where to be emotional and when and who with to be emotional, and then when to be strict and firm. And that's like in my profession, we're actually trained to be a bit like a robot. Like, you only give the child the attention when they're hurting or they're really upset. But if they're doing something to be provoking and actually are non-compliant, you don't really feel that the way they're conducting themselves in that way in a negative manner. You try and shift it and always turn it to a positive, and that's what they should be doing. I thought social services was a positive thing. Like, you could go to them for support, for kind of like you get your parenting classes and your tips and stuff. But from what I'm hearing, they're just ripping families apart.
They're absolutely destroying a lot of families. What just maybe need a little support. They're destroying them. Another thing that, I find strange as well is the foster parents are taught that they're not to be too, connected to the children, because some of them are short term. So where is the love coming in this when your kid's been ripped from a household where it's probably not healthy and then put with families that are not going to give them that nurturing love that they're supposed to be getting? There's another angle to look at, because it happens in children's homes too. They're not allowed to get close or emotional with these children.
I was going to say, could it be that, like any other job, social workers are held accountable for targets? You know what I mean?
I agree.
Is this why people are being put into care or not being supported? Things like that. Obviously, this society has become crazy now, and everything's about targets and hitting these figures and what they can do, and you know what I mean, how they perform. So I agree with Pudding when she says yes, they should have a department where they're regularly assessed to make sure they are performing to the right standards and not taking things like
personal
consciously biased.
Maybe they have and we don't know.
Definitely. But it is something that needs changing.
Definitely.
Probably, Medea, you're the person to do it. Just start organising and get that policy changed within the government.
That's what I asked Alstalio to send me the link, which he has just sent through. Thank you very much, Alstalio. I'm going to look on that and see if I can start off with a group, because there is need for change. There definitely is. And the people have rights to say, well, you've been doing this same old rule for centuries, and it's actually not fair. It's very cruel, to be honest. You know, yes, there are some cases where there's been success stories out of it, but there's also a lot of cases where they're not successful and the child has come out even worse than if they'd have stayed with the parent. You know, so we'll see what happens.
Definitely damaging.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, definitely. You know, which leads to the next topic, which I feel can just slide on from this one. Yeah. Is it time to let children, young people, in on politics?
I think so. I think it's stupid having old men. Did we actually speak about this once?
No, we've not spoken about young people in politics. We've spoke about politics, but not young people in politics. We talked about the old fuddy-duddies that are biased in politics, yeah?
Because they always have this idea that young people are not mature enough and haven't lived enough. But I'm like, all right, go and ask a 16-year-old what they want for a world. Go and ask them. I guarantee they'll say much better stuff, positive stuff than someone who's 50, 60 or 70.
Yeah. I actually agree.
They wouldn't be able to comprehend the idea of war. They'd be like, why do you want to go to war for? That's stupid.
Exactly.
So I think it's time we let younger people go into politics. I think by the time most adults are in go into politics or in the government, they're bitter and twisted. Classic.
Yeah.
And you know, they can't be bothered nor the bigoted and racist and discriminative. I know what you're trying to say. Yeah, or discriminating. I think young people should definitely be given the baton between the ages of 16 and maybe 30, and I think these guys should be given a chance, because there was no time in history when real young people, had ever been in politics. Yeah. Does anyone else got anything to say?
Tell Dimple to come in.
No, what I was going to say, no, in terms of this, I'm sure I've watched a load of things. Is it Question Time as well? Question Time, yeah. There's a show. Travesty, don't you know about Question Time?
Yeah,
sure you used to watch it as well. And I used to watch that, and there used to always be young people on there, and there was always saying some very powerful stuff on there. And what I don't get as well, 9 times out of 10, the people that would be speaking some sense about society, they would be training in politics. So I'm assuming they have to train so many years and then get their degree, and then before you know it, they're old and then they're in politics. That's what I'm assuming. Yeah,
usually is the way, because you have experience.
Or you can be lucky like Donald Trump and just be rich and join.
So he has no experience, political experience, and it just
it shows.
And then you've got Kanye West trying to get in,
who again has no political experience, but then they say, oh well, when you're 16 or 17 you can't join politics because you have no life experience. What the hell? I don't even think politics is about life experience. Actually, when I look at what these idiots are doing, they obviously don't care about life. So how's it about life experience?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I agree. I think younger people should be put in politics, and I think the old fuddy-duddies should be removed, because their thinking is to oppress the poor and create war, whether it be biological or physical war. That is their main objective, you know, and keeping themselves rich. Whereas the young people, they'd be more laid back. And I think there'd be more fairness going in, unless they were born into rich, spiteful government people anyway, then they'd have the same sort of thinking.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm. It actually says in the Bible, and it says the children should be, a little child shall lead them. That's what, you know, it even says look to the children, basically, and if you want to find out how it should be and how to be pure, look to the children. Don't look to some old, busted, bigoted, crazy, orange skin guy. I don't want to. That's racist, man. That's racist. I'm sorry.
It's not racist by saying sorry, orange skin.
Because that would be. That's with emphasis on his color, his skin color. You know, we don't like it, so I'll take that back.
Yeah.
Hey, Dimples, are you in?
Yes, I am. I only caught half the convo, but yes.
Well, basically what I was asking for, is it time to let young people into politics?
Okay, I think we should encourage it. There are like youth strands in, I don't know about the American, that seems like a circus, that game. But in the British politics, they have a youth strands of the different political parties, but they just don't really have much of a platform, do they? That's the problem.
Do you think they pushed it down on purpose? Like, they just say, why should we listen to them? They have no life experience.
I don't know. I think it's just that they pay lip service. They have them there, but then I suppose it is about that conditioning and wanting them to be a certain way. So I think it's a whole system change that's needed in order to let young people in. It's letting underprivileged people in and different types and cultures of people into politics. So yeah, I think it's just very much the majority, not the all, but the majority, more of the rule than the exception, is older, middle to upper class, rich, white male.
Yeah.
That's
Very
the majority
true. Which
in
needs
there.
to be changed as well.
Well, yeah, over there in the circus, yeah.
Well,
But
to be
yeah, we
fair,
definitely need to
folks.
mix it up.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think obviously we've all touched upon the indication that most of people within the political party are older, of the older generation, and that's mainly because I don't think you become really interested in politics until you probably get to that age. Sometimes, obviously, we've got the younger generation, obviously well educated, and they're already on that milestone. But many of our youth today, at 13 and 16, yes, they will make a fantastic speech about how they see the world and how they think we all should live. But because they haven't lived, unfortunately, nobody ever wants to follow anybody who hasn't had an experience. Obviously touched upon by Estelia.
I get where you're going, Travesty, and
Yeah.
here's an example. What they should do, say for instance, there's 30 people in the government. They should do 10 old people, 10 young, as you say, between it's 10 teenagers and 10 young adults, meaning 25 to 30, whatever, those sort of ages. And they should all have equal opportunity to state what they believe should be done, how the country should be run.
Well, to be fair, the government is supposed to be the voice of the people, but these days you never seem to see them making decisions for the people. It obviously seems like they're obviously making these things just for themselves and big corporations.
Yeah.
Now, to become or either to get into politics, first you have to become an MP in your local area, which is easy to do. You just got to be elected onto seats, and by doing things like that, you go via your union, and that's how you can possibly get into number 10, believe it or not, by not going the posh route or via private school. You could work your way up. It's just having the right policies and the right face that fits, that everybody can empathise with and follow you as their leader. So that's how you get into the top. Just like Donald Trump, as we all may laugh, but once upon a time he probably did say one day I'm going to be president, and people did laugh at him, and he got there because he made sure each stepping stone is created via his life, he's forged towards becoming the president. Just like Kanye, yes, he may be seen as a fool, but again, he's rubbing shoulders with the right people to get where he needs and wants to be. And that's how you get into politics, via the back door, as they say.
True.
If you're a youth, because I've always been, obviously, within a trade union, so my children have been educated within a trade union basis, so they know their sort of employment law and what the employer can't get away with and can. So I like to advise them. But yes, myself, I've been approached and spoken to about getting politically involved. But I feel that to get on that kind of like place, you've got to be the type of person that won't feel guilty for the decisions they make.
Yeah.
Even if it's good or bad. And I think being within the political parties, it's too much pressure.
It is pressure.
You know what I mean? It takes a certain
and
kind of person.
You have to be definitely cold-blooded.
And that's what I mean. By the time you are in them age groups, you've experienced a lot of things and you've been through a lot of things, and you have got a broader back. So that's probably why we're seeing the same types of people usually getting into the government, because nobody tries to sort of challenge that. Unfortunately, there's not enough. It's always going to be the same people because obviously there's not enough, say, black people to vote for just one black person for them to be able to get into the government. It would never happen, because that's not going to happen, is it?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
So yes, I agree with everybody, obviously, upon the cast that young people should be involved, but not at the forefront, but somewhere along the line of the decision making during policies.
Their opinion should be counted.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, the average age of government at the moment, I've only got statistics for America here, but it's 60 years old. No, it's gone down to 54 years old, the average age of government. So we're getting there. Well,
definitely.
And then
slowly.
By the time you get there, Stalio, you'll be the same age as the people you don't want to run the country.
Yeah, but then I won't do it. These guys should be going. I don't care, man. These guys should be going into retirement anyway. They've got so much money by the time they're that age. They don't need to be running no government. This orange guy doesn't need to be running government at his age. He's 70 plus and he's a billionaire. He doesn't need to do nothing like this, you know. But whatever, man. I don't care, man. Anyway, shall we do another question and answers?
Go to that one. Go on.
Last one. What are we gonna do?
Do you think it's right that COVID is being used as a reason for not doing what is expected of you? Now, the reason why I'm asking that is, like, for instance, you may need a service from, say, broadband, and the engineers won't be coming out because of COVID. Do you think that's an example? Do you think it's justified anymore? Do you think they should stop using excuses not to get things done in any work sector?
There's PPE now. So
there's
really and true, there's PPE now, like your mask and your gloves and all that.
Yeah.
And there's social distancing rules. And this could create opportunities for those that want to work to come out and do the job.
Yeah.
Really, truly. The amount of people that want a job, you know, at this moment in time, why not say, listen, there's a job going here. Would you like to do it? We'll supply you with the PPE. You want to do it for an hour, 2 hours, there you go. That's what you have to do.
I think what it is, employers at the moment are a bit itchy about where they stand insurance-wise, obviously, in regards to liabilities, because obviously if they can't keep their staff safe and then out of that it results in them contracting COVID, they could potentially be like brought to court, and they don't want that. So that I think most employers are like in a grey area, so they don't know where they stand. A bit like the travel insurance, you know what I mean? You don't know where you stand because they don't want to be liable, but they want you to work, but they don't want you to catch COVID because they don't want to catch COVID. Obviously, it's COVID pandemic showing that everybody's vulnerable and everybody's open to catching it. So I think this has been the one time in our life that everybody has been involved in one cause. So what can I say?
But I'm still, I'm just on the fence with this COVID thing still. I think it is just an excuse. It's a cop-out. Because think about it, we've seen people flocking the beaches. We've seen people doing protests, and we haven't seen people dropping dead on the street. So how bad is this COVID that people are not doing their jobs?
They're just kind of like rebellious youth, isn't it? That are doing
like, it's true.
And they feel, remember when you're young like that, you feel invincible. You don't feel like anything will get you, you know? So then when you start getting a bit more older and you realise actually life's short and I'm 35 now, it's like that. So that's all I think it is. I think they don't really care.
Yeah. You speaking on that though, Estalio, the way that I looked at it, which Medea already knows, is that, okay, then the restaurants have opened back up. Some of them, not all of them. Went into a restaurant, the customer service just wasn't there at all. It's like, I know you can't get within the, 2 meter, 1 minute radius or whatever, but you can't just go, there's your seat and just walk away. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, here's your seat. Sorry, madam. Would you like a drink? Would you like this? Sorry for your wait. We didn't even get an apology for like, sorry for your wait. This is how it's got to be, blah, blah, blah. It was just so weird. The atmosphere was just kind of dead. And it would be because obviously we're still in lockdown and taking extra precautions, but it's just the common courtesy, the manners, just that whole, I don't know, it's just gone for me in a sense of people should be a bit more polite and, just the customer service element, I was a bit thrown off by.
Are they wearing masks?
They're not wearing masks, no, but they don't have to.
Workers have to wear masks?
No.
Not in the restaurant that I went, they didn't have to wear masks, and we didn't have to wear masks going there, but everything was spaced out.
I thought like in Germany they wear masks in the restaurant.
Yeah. I've seen some restaurants, they've advertised like they've got their branding on the front of the mask. And everything.
They've got sanitizer, and this is a famous food chain as well. There's hand sanitizers everywhere, and there's rules where only one person can go into the bathroom. Remember, there's multiple cubicles, but only one person could go in there at a time.
Really?
Do what they're doing, then come out, and then the next person, even though there's multiple cubicles.
That's so stupid.
It's so stupid. They should
You're not going to go to the bathroom to go and sneeze
anyway.
and cough on each other.
It's true. But yeah, everybody's in the same one room waiting for their meals.
That's stupid.
It's stupid, absolutely ridiculous.
And again, that goes back to the government again, their policies and not knowing what to do, not what to do. Ridiculous.
And using COVID as an excuse to behave badly. And I'm telling you, if this COVID phase passes, the customer service will probably never come back. Because people have got into that way of being rude and not caring, that it will continue even when COVID's gone.
Along with most of the restaurant chains.
Wow, yeah.
Hopefully.
Because to be fair, I haven't been anywhere since lockdown's been eased. I haven't personally experienced any restaurant attitudes or surroundings to know or to be able to even comment upon it. So, I don't know.
It's just a wittiness. You look for the wittiness. Carry on, 1 in a million. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. You were looking for the wittiness.
No, it's just a witness.
Waiters.
You just get that element of like, oh, here's your food, or is everything okay? Do you need anything else? They're just like looking at you like you've got it.
Customer service, isn't it? Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really weird.
Like everyone's kind of like just come out of the house now. And
they don't feel comfortable.
Everyone's skeptical of everyone if they got, everyone's kind of in that the fear state. They're looking like, okay.
Be alert.
They're alert. They're extra like, okay, I'm not going to talk too much. I don't want to breathe on anybody. They might, I don't want anyone to talk to me. They might cough. Everyone's a bit nervous. That's going to take a couple of weeks to filter itself out.
Couple of weeks? You mean the rast of the year?
No, I mean, for the people start getting a little bit like, because I noticed at the start, like in Germany, because obviously we're a little bit ahead of you guys, at the start, everyone was like, sort of like, okay, don't stay away from me, don't come close. And everyone was kind of like, really like, but now if you look at it now, you'd think there was no COVID at all. Everyone's just next to each other, everyone's just talking, everything's got pretty much back, just everyone's got the mask.
Yeah, I've seen that in the beer gardens as well today.
Yeah, so just, to start off with, it's going to be a little bit nervous. Okay. But after a while, everyone will be like, okay, I don't even care, man, take this mask off.
But yeah, in response to Medea's point, I kind of have that skepticism for some things because I went to a wildlife park. It was lovely, but there were some bits that were closed, and in my head I was kind of thinking, is it closed because they really can't, and it's been like some zoological association has said you can't have this unless you've got this in place, or is it that the people that worked in that bit couldn't be bothered? And then they were like, let's just not open that bit. We'll keep that closed. The public will just
the second.
shown a sign, COVID-19, not open. So it's like we couldn't see certain animals, but we could see the other ones. It's like
I do,
But
yeah.
animals getting COVID too now. Don't sneeze on the
Probably
don't
all
sneeze on
been
the
furloughed.
trap.
there. Wasn't there an article about a cat?
Yeah, tiger. I think was it tiger?
I heard a cat.
Was it cat? Oh, tiger.
Cat,
Big
yeah.
cat.
Same family.
Just want to
And
sneeze on it.
don't forget the second wave is coming in 2 weeks, so start
Is that what
stocking
it
up.
said? Is that what it said?
That's what Boris apparently has said. A couple
Wow.
of weeks' time, there'll be a second wave, but it was supposed to be October. Now it's been moved to a couple of weeks' time.
You mean the peak of the 6 weeks holiday? What a coincidence.
Exactly.
Meaning no
God.
schools open again.
Yeah.
Actually,
Come on now.
I heard that you guys might have to go back into quarantine again if you travel. Is that true? To some countries.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Man, that's so
10
stupid.
days.
I'm not gonna come to England again this year, man. Can't see it.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely
It's crazy.
crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Mm.
That's why I haven't come to see you
No,
yet,
but the thing is-
Australia.
You don't have to quarantine,
Australia,
yeah? Well, actually, you will do, yeah. Yeah.
Australia, that's people who are going on plane. I think if you're driving across, that's a different thing.
Oh, okay.
That's a different thing because you're driving in your own environment. You're not really associating with other people.
I don't know, I think it's just if you come from that country.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
heard
it was
that.
any
You're
visitor
supposed
from
to, yeah,
hotspot countries.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think
Doesn't matter if
is
you-
the hotspot, isn't it? Okay.
Because you're not going to, obviously, Medea, when you go
Yeah.
in on a ferry, you don't sit in your car.
You can do though.
No, you can't. You've got to go. You've got to go up on the deck.
Go on
I
the
can
tunnel. Go on the
guarantee
tunnel.
you, Travis,
gonna
I can guarantee you the rules have been changed since COVID.
Nah,
and
man,
you
because
can
if the
sit in
boat
car.
goes down and you're on the bottom, there's no way you're
You're
getting
gonna
out.
drown. Yeah.
You ain't to do that.
So you're
even,
gonna
if the rule, even if the extremes change the rules, that would be too extreme, then.
You know what I mean? So you're obviously gonna be mixing and blending on the deck.
Yeah.
So
No, you'd
COVID
still be
time.
social distancing with your masks on. You
Go on
can
the
guarantee
tunnel.
that.
Oh, yeah, that's good then. You guys, I'll see you guys soon then. Come on the tunnel.
oh yeah, that's true.
The tunnel is all right. So,
Yeah.
all
But
right,
again, they don't know who you're mixing and blending with when you get to that country.
man.
Probably
That's
that's the
true.
reasoning behind. You can make sure you quarantine for 10 days once you return.
Yeah.
Because they've got to allow, is it 3 days for the symptoms to come out before you should be tested
Yeah.
to make sure? And then if not, then you still got to stay for a further week or some rubbish. I don't know. It's too hazy. The rules are changed every 2 minutes, so
Every 2
it's hard
minutes,
to really
yeah.
keep up on it. Yeah.
I reckon eventually everyone's just going to say, "I'll forget this," and just don't
Yeah,
care.
just take the chance. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So,
but yeah, such is life.
Can't see it being a really big plague anyway, so it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Everyone's gonna be fine. We're gonna take Donald Trump's perspective on things and say it's all gonna be okay. It's gonna be a good time. It's not gonna be at all. We're gonna be all right. It's just we're the British and American people. We're great. It's gonna be fine. Just keep doing what you're doing and making money and keeping the economy up. That's what we need. Jobs. Give people our jobs. It's gonna be fine.
Oh my goodness.
So positive. The guy is positive. That's what you gotta take away. He's a positive guy.
He can stay positive because he's set for the rest of his life. So, of course, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go on the table and start with Travis today. Travis, do you got anything?
Get involved in your politics because you could potentially be the change of the future. And as usual, be good to each other and be true.
Yo. Pudding?
I'd just like to say, stay hydrated. I'm seeing that the weather's meant to be getting warmer over the past few days in the first week of August. We don't know if it's true because you know what the UK is like. When the day comes, you have to look outside. But, use your common sense. Stay hydrated, shelter, have a nice day.
Okay. Medea?
I believe it's time for change. But while we're trying to make that change, please stay safe.
And last but not least, pudding. I always said pudding. Dibbles.
Just go and try and enjoy life as much as possible while staying safe as well. And birthday shout out to myself for Saturday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right, and I will say keep listening to the podcast, and let the youth do the lead out. Let the youth lead the way in politics. Good night, folks.
Good night. Stay blessed.
Bye-bye.
Hearing the excitement in your voice, now that you made the right choice to love only me. Now we can continue on with our plans, walking together hand in hand.